Book of Heaven, Volume 20, Part 1. JMJ. Fiat, always and eternally. September 17th, 1926. How each thing created by God has its place, and one who goes out of the divine will loses his place. Importance of the kingdom of the divine fiat. My Jesus, I invoke your holy will, that it itself may come to write on paper the most penetrating and eloquent words, the most fitting terms, to make itself comprehended, in such a way as to portray the kingdom of the supreme fiat with the most beautiful colors, with the most refulgent light, with the most attractive characteristic, so as to infuse a magnetic force and a powerful magnet in the words that you shall make me write, such that no one shall be able to resist letting himself be dominated by your most holy will. And you, my mamma, true sovereign queen of the supreme fiat, do not leave me alone. Come to guide my hand. Give me the flame of your maternal heart. And while I write, keep me under your azure mantle, that I may fulfill all that my beloved Jesus wants of me. I felt all invested by the supreme volition that, drawing me into its immense light, made me see the order of creation, how each thing remained at the place assigned by its Creator. My mind wandered and was enraptured at seeing the order, the harmony, the magnificence, the beauty of the whole creation. And my sweet Jesus, who was with me, told me, "My daughter, everything that came out of our creative hands, each created thing, was assigned its place and its distinct office, and all of them remain at their place, magnifying with incessant praises that eternal fiat that dominates them, preserves them, and gives them new life. So there, preserving themselves ever beautiful, whole, and new, is the motion of the supreme fiat dominating in them. Man also was assigned his place, his office of sovereign over all created things, with the difference that while all other things created by us remained just as God had created them, without ever changing, neither increasing nor decreasing, my will, giving man supremacy over all the works of our hands, and wanting to show off even more with him in love, gave him the office to grow continuously in beauty, in sanctity, in wisdom, in richness, to the point of raising him to the likeness of his Creator, always provided, however, that he would let himself be dominated and guided, to give the supreme fiat free field in order to form its divine life in him, so as to be able to form this continuous growth of goods and of beauty, with happiness without end. In fact, without my will dominating, there can be neither growth nor beauty, nor happiness, nor order, nor harmony. Since my will is origin, master, and beginning of the whole work of creation, wherever it reigns, it has the virtue of preserving its work beautiful, just as it issued it. But where it does not exist, the communication of its vital humors, in order to preserve the work that came out of our hands, is missing. Do you see, then, what great evil it was for man to withdraw from my will? So, all things, even the smallest ones, have their place. It can be said that they are in their home, secure, and no one can touch them. They possess abundance of goods, because that will that flows in them possesses the source of all goods. They are all in the order, the harmony, and the peace of all. On the other hand, by withdrawing from our will, man lost his place. He remained without our home, exposed to dangers. All can touch him to harm him. The very elements are superior to him, because they possess a supreme will, while he possesses a degraded human will that can give him nothing but miseries, weaknesses, and passions. And because he lost his origin, his place, he remained without order, disharmonized from all. And he enjoys no peace, not even within himself. So it can be said that he is the only being wandering in the whole creation, to whom nothing is due by right, because we give everything to the one who lives in our will, for he is in our home. He is one from our family. The relations, the bonds of sonship that he possesses by living in it, give him the right to all our goods. On the other hand, one who does not live of the life of my will has broken, as though all at once, all the bonds, all the relations. Therefore he is held by us as something that does not belong to us. Oh, if all knew what it means to break up with our will, and into what abyss they fall, all would tremble with fright, and would compete in order to return into the kingdom of the eternal Fiat, to take their place again, assigned to them by God. Now, my daughter, since my eternal goodness wants to give my kingdom of the supreme Fiat once again, after man had so ungratefully rejected it, don't you think that this is the greatest gift I can give to the human generations? But in order to give it, I must form it, constitute it, and make known that which up to now is not known about my will, and such knowledges about it as to win those who shall know them to love, appreciate, and desire to come and live in it. The knowledges shall be the chains, but not imposed. Rather, they themselves willingly shall let themselves be bound. The knowledges shall be the weapons, the conquering arrows that shall conquer the new children of the supreme Fiat. But do you know what these knowledges possess? The changing of one's nature into virtue, into good, into my will, in such a way that they shall possess them as their own property. On hearing this, I said, My love, Jesus, if these knowledges on your adorable will contained so much virtue, why did you not manifest them to Adam, so that by making them known to posterity, they would have loved and appreciated more a good so great? And this would have disposed the hearts for the time when you, divine repairer, would decree to give us this great gift of the kingdom of the supreme Fiat. And Jesus, resuming his speaking, added, My daughter, as long as he remained in the terrestrial Eden, living in the kingdom of the supreme will, Adam knew all the knowledges, as much as it is possible for a creature, of that which belonged to the kingdom he possessed. But as soon as he went out of it, his intellect was obscured. He lost the light of his kingdom, and could not find the fitting words in order to manifest the knowledges he had acquired on the supreme will, because that very divine volition that would hand to him the necessary terms to manifest to others what he had known, was missing in him. This on his part. More so, since every time he remembered his withdrawal from my will, and the highest good that he had lost, he felt such a grip of sorrow as to become taciturn, engrossed in the sorrow of the loss of a kingdom so great, and of the irreparable evils that, as much as Adam might do, it was not given to him to repair. Indeed, that very God whom he had offended was needed in order to remedy them. On the part of his Creator, he received no order, and therefore he was not given enough capacity to manifest it. Why manifest a knowledge if it would not give him the good it contained? I only make a good known when I want to give it. However, even though Adam did not speak extensively about the kingdom of my will, he taught many important things on what regarded it, so much so that during the first times of the history of the world, up to Noah, the generations had no need of laws, nor were there idolatries, no diversity of languages, but all recognized their one God, one single language, because they cared more about my will. But as they kept moving away from it, idolatries arose and degenerated into worse evils. And this is why God saw the necessity of giving his laws as a preserver for the human generations. So, the one who does my will has no need of laws, because my will is life, is law, is everything for man. The importance of the kingdom of the supreme Fiat is immense, and I love it so much that I am doing more than in a new creation and redemption. In fact, in creation, my omnipotent Fiat was pronounced only 6 times, in order to dispose it and issue it all ordered. In redemption I spoke, but since I did not speak about the kingdom of my will, that contains infinite knowledges and immense goods, I did not have a very extensive subject with many words to say, because everything I taught was of limited nature, and a few words were enough to make it known. But in order to make my will known, it takes much, my daughter. Its history is extremely long. It encloses an eternity, with no beginning and no end. Therefore, as much as I speak, I have always something to say. This is why I am saying, oh, how much more. Being more important than anything, it contains more knowledges, more light, more greatness, more prodigies. Therefore more words are needed. More so, since the more I make known, the more I expand the boundaries of my kingdom to be given to the children who shall possess it. Therefore, everything I manifest about my will is a new creation that I make in my kingdom, to be enjoyed and possessed by those who shall have the good of knowing it. And so, great attention is required on your part in manifesting them. September 20th, 1926. One who does not do the will of God is like a celestial constellation that goes out of its place. She is like a dislocated member. For the one who does the will of God, it is daylight, For one who does not, it is night time. Having finished writing one book and having to start another one, I felt the weight of writing, and almost embittered, I sighed. And my sweet Jesus, moving in my interior, made himself seen shaking his head, and sighing, he told me, "My daughter, what is it? What is it? You don't want to write?" And I, almost trembling in seeing him sigh because of me, said, "My love, I want what you want. It is true that I feel the sacrifice of writing, but for love of you I shall do everything." And Jesus added, "My daughter, you have not comprehended well what it means to live in my will. While you were sighing, the creation and everyone, and even myself, have sighed together with you, because for those who live in it, one is the life, one the act, one the motion, one the echo. They cannot help doing the same thing together, because God is the prime motion. And since all created things have come out of a motion full of life, there is nothing that does not possess his motion, and all turn around the prime motion of their Creator. So the whole creation is in my will. Its round is incessant, rapid, orderly, and the one who lives in it has her place of order in their midst, turning rapidly, together with everyone, without ever stopping. My daughter, that sigh of unwillingness of yours has formed its echo in everyone. And do you know what they felt? As if a constellation wanted to go out of its place, out of the order, out of making its rapid round around their Creator. And on seeing this celestial constellation as though going out of their midst, all were shaken, and as though hampered in their round, but were immediately restored by your prompt adhesion, continuing their rapid round with order, magnifying their Creator, who keeps them clasped to himself, to make them turn around himself. What would you say if you saw a star going out from among the others and descending down below? Would you not say, "It has gone out of its place. It no longer lives a communal life with the others. It is a lost star"? Such is one who, living in my will, wanted to do her own. She moves away from her place. She goes down from the height of the heavens. She loses the communion of the celestial family. She gets lost away from my will. She gets lost away from light, from strength, from sanctity, from the divine likeness. She gets lost away from order, from harmony, and she loses the rapidity of making the round around her Creator. Therefore, be attentive, because in the kingdom of my will there are no unwillingnesses or bitternesses, but everything is joy. There are no strains, but all is spontaneity, as if the creature wanted to do what God wants, as if she herself wanted to do it. I was frightened in hearing this from my sweet Jesus, and I comprehended the great evil of doing one's own will. And I prayed him from the heart to give me so much grace as not to let me fall into an evil so grave. But while I was doing this, my beloved good came back. But he made himself seen with almost all of his members dislocated. That gave him unspeakable pain. And throwing himself into my arms, he told me, "My daughter, these dislocated members that give me so much pain are all the souls who do not do my will. By coming upon earth, I constituted myself head of the human family, and they are my members. But these members were formed, joined, bound, by means of the vital humors of my will. As it flows in them, they are placed in communication with my body, and they are strengthened, each one at its place. My will, like compassionate doctor, not only makes its vital and divine humors flow in order to form the necessary circulation between head and members, but it forms its perfect bandaging in order to keep the members bound and firm under their head. Now, since my will is missing in them, that which gives the heat, the blood, the strength, and the command from the head in order to render the members operative, is missing. That which does the bandaging, if they are dislocated, is missing. Everything is missing. It can be said that all communications between the members and the head are broken, and they remain in my body to give me pain. It is my will alone that places the Creator and the creature, the Redeemer and the redeemed ones, the Sanctifier and the sanctified ones, in accord and in communication. Without it, it is as if creation and redemption were nothing for them, because that which makes flow the life and the goods that they contain is missing. The very sacraments shall serve them as condemnation, because since my will is missing in them, that which breaks the veil of the sacraments so as to give them the fruit and the life they contain is missing. Therefore, my will is everything. Without it, our most beautiful works, our greatest prodigies, remain extraneous to the poor creatures, because it alone is the depository of all our works, and therefore only through it can these be given birth for creatures. Oh, if all knew what it means to do or not to do my will, they would all place themselves in accord with it, in order to receive all possible and imaginable goods, and the transmission of the very divine life. Then after this, I was doing my usual acts in the supreme will, and since the day was almost dawning, I was saying, "My Jesus, my love, the day is now beginning, and in your will I want to make my round through all creatures, so that in rising from their sleep, they may all rise in your will, to give you the adoration of all intelligences, the love of all hearts, the rising of all their works and of all their beings, into the light that this day shall make shine over all generations." While I was saying this and other things, my sweet Jesus moved in my interior and told me, "My daughter, in my will there are neither days nor nights, nor dawns nor sunsets, but one is its day, always in the fullness of its light. And the one who lives in it can say, 'There are no nights for me, but it is always daylight. Therefore one is my day, And as she operates in order to do my will, and to carry out her life in it, she forms as many more lights, most refulgent, within the day of her life, that render more glorious and more beautiful the day of my will in which they live. Do you know for whom day and night, dawn and sunset are formed? For the one who now does my will, now her own. If she does mine, she forms the day. If she does her own, she forms the night. The one who lives fully in it forms the fullness of the day. The one who does not live fully in it, but does my will only with strain, forms the dawn. The one who laments about what it disposes and wants to withdraw forms the sunset. And for one who does not do my will at all, it is always perennial nighttime, the beginning of that eternal night of hell that shall never end. You have reached the end of the Book of Heaven, Volume 20, Part 1. Fiat.